Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You're once again watching Esoteric TV. I'll be your one and only host, the Astro Guru, and it wouldn't be Esoteric TV without the Gra as well. I'd like to welcome all of God's children. Hmm. Doing things differently. That's all I can say. Some things must be done differently as you progress in life. So, with that being said, I'll be doing things differently. Won't say different in what way, or rather, I won't say in what way they'll be different, as well as I won't tell you what things I'll be doing differently. But if you understand the fact that I've never shot a video this way, then this video itself would entail he's doing things differently. So now, tonight's episode, I'll be explaining various things. The very first thing that I will be explaining is the flip side to, I believe I've done this video already. Pretty sure I have. Did a video on how a man will come to love anything that he actively spends time with. He doesn't have to want to spend this time with. If he's forced to spend time with something, he will eventually come to love it. The flip side to that is anything a woman is around for too long, she'll come to dislike and or hate. Now, once again, as you know, my apologies. Excuse me. As you know, this page is all inclusive. So we're never going to define everyone under the same bar. So when I say a woman, I don't mean any and every woman that you can go outside and pick. We'll say the majority. And there's a reason for this. We'll get into that. But we'll say the majority. So, with that being said, the majority of women, after a certain amount of time, they're going to get tired of whatever this thing is, as we all mostly do. It's the reason why people take breaks from things. It's the reason why people retire, you know. But back to the subject. As a woman, the more you are forced to be around something, and or even if you go around it willingly, at some point, the situation, circumstance, person, place, and or thing is going to start showing you sides of it that you may not like as a woman. And when I say you don't like them, I mean they don't feel good to you. In today's world, as a woman, if you don't like something, as a person, truthfully and honestly, but we'll stick to the subject, as a woman, if you don't like something, you can simply remove it from your life. Now, that's the choice that everybody has. The only reason why I put emphasis on women in this case is simply because women can, as a majority, pretty much do what the fuck they want. And as human beings, as sheeple, accountability will not be forced upon the woman because it's a feeling thing, it's an emotional thing. If this doesn't feel good to you, there's nothing we can do to make it feel good to you. But if this doesn't feel right, then her brain can't really work properly in the situation, meaning she can't achieve her best version. And as the encouraging and loving people that all 8 billion human beings are, you gotta encourage them to feel right so that they can, think right and be right mentally. Basically, we want everyone to live a good life. We just don't want to be responsible for that life being good. So, as I was saying, this is where you get angry, masculine women sometimes from, aside from upbringing or life choices. If I decide to place a woman under, pardon me again, if a woman is placed under certain amounts of pressure, let's just say society expects them to crack. Well, as a man, sometimes we don't have that option of cracking. You got to hold it down. You got to stand on business, things like that, right? So that's what makes you a man, supposedly correct. All right. So now that we're in agreement with that, as a man, you can't just tuck tail and run. A woman can. Now, do men do it? I'm positive they do. And when I say men, I'm not just saying because you're a male or because you possess a penis and testicles. What I mean is a man, like a governing body, understand? That guy that you would call the head of household, the guy that you would say is a protector and a provider, the one that's standing on business, the one that's of high value, the one that gets shit done, the one that everybody loves. There's plenty of things he does, gets done, he does not want to fucking do. Nor does it feel good for him to do it. What feels good to him is the results, knowing that there's a problem that you had that is no longer on your list, or if it's your biggest problem. When the man fixes that, and whether it be fake praise or real praise, just the thank yous, the acknowledgement, and the respect for this person's time and work is where the results are seen at. So, example, you've broken down on the highway. You're alone by yourself. You call a man. It doesn't matter if you call AAA, but let's just say a man. And he comes and gets you off the side of the road, helps you to your next destination, softens the blow, changes your tire, fixes your brakes, whatever need be done. When you acknowledge the man for what he's done, when you thank him, when you tip him, that is actively telling that man how you feel about the work he's done and or how you feel about them. So when you don't say thank you to a man that has done something for you, like hold the door, he doesn't say anything about it. He just knows in his head, never again. Or he adopts the fact that everyone's not mannerable. Everyone's not going to say thank you. But it's also not going to stop him from holding the door for other people. He'll just make a mental note of the ones that didn't thank him when he held the door. Of that kind of person, he'll make a mental note. And he'll be on the lookout for this person because he has a bone to pick with this person. He has a bone to pick with their upbringing. He may have a bone to pick with their parents. He may have a bone to pick with how they see life, their mentality. When he finds out what that bone is, he'll zero in on it and he'll find it in each and every angle, corner, crack, and crevice of his life. And he will aim his anger and his want for change at the situation and circumstance, not solely the person. Because if he corrects one person, guess what? He'll still have to continue correcting other people. So the problem doesn't stop there. So the person can't be the end all be all. But if we attack the situation and the circumstance, gain a little bit of information from it, and apply the knowledge that we've gained through said experiences, certain situations and circumstances can be diminished. We won't have those problems anymore. Women wanted to feel equal to men, so they killed chivalry. I'll say that again. Women as a whole wanted to feel equal to men, so they killed chivalry, in which it was a brilliant maneuver on their behalf. The problem comes in when there's a small group of women who love a chivalrous man. And now they have a hard time finding where chivalry still exists and or the man that'll hold the door open for you. The good thing about this small thing is that people can be taught, especially when they're paying a certain amount of attention to another being. If you're engrossed in something, you have no choice but to learn things about it. but to have little realizations about something. It's just like getting to know someone. It's just like dating, courtship. Before you have a divorce in a courtroom, you have to have a marriage, right? Well, before you can have a marriage, you have to have a relationship. And before you can cultivate a relationship fully, some form of courting has to be done and or courtship. This is not always agreed upon. How people court each other is not always seen as valid, but for the parties involved, they know where and how who was courted. So, back to the women whom spend a certain amount of time in a relationships, women who've been mothers for a certain amount of time, obviously. You have some beautiful mothers out there. You have some not so beautiful. We're not talking about either of them. We're talking about the mother that's like, fuck them kids. If she's not already a negative slash, I'm pretty sure, disrespectful person or unloving person, if she's not inherently that or didn't, grow to become that, when she says fuck them kids, it's her way of crying out to the world for help and saying, I'm overwhelmed. And if she's not overwhelmed, it's simply like, well, the daddy left the kids with me, but I didn't have the option of leaving the kids with anybody. And this is a lot of women's truth. So, not saying who's right, not saying who's wrong, not saying if it's correct, not saying if it's not. But their children are what they feel obligated to. And there's a difference between becoming a mother because you love your partner, this is what they want from you, and you're building a relationship and or marriage. And a woman who, hey, I was, lit, I was outside, we was fucking around, a baby got put in me, and I decided not to abort it. There's a difference between those two mothers. One is a mother by choice. And when you do things by choice, they feel a lot better than when you just get hit with the element of surprise, like, haha, not gonna be there for you and your kids. Like, so now you gotta kind of figure out how you're gonna maneuver, what you're gonna do about your situation, and how you're gonna be seen about the results that you get from the situation, about the energy and effort put into the situation. Although this is not solely based on your choices and your decisions. It's not solely based on that. It takes two to tango. So the thing is, no one's actually seeing the tango. They're just seeing if you had a good time at the party or not. If you come in the house and it's like, how's the party? Oh man, I'm tired. I was dancing all night and we had the time of our lives. Wonderful. And you coming home drunk, man, I'm drunk. I don't ever want to drink again. I done threw up, I done broke a hill, and like it's a not so pleasant night. We done got pulled over this year. It's not something that's it's a not so pleasant night. Well, life is pretty much the same way. There are some mothers who are happy with their offspring. Doesn't matter if their offspring is acting how they taught them to act, or you're not doing. I didn't raise you like that. It's not. It's not. It doesn't matter. The thing is, I helped create you. As much as we may disagree, you're still actively part of me. Meaning, if I love myself in any kind of way, I have to have some form of love for you. It also means that I don't hate whom I may have created you with. It might not have worked out. They may not have, done the things that she may have wanted them to do as a mother for their child, but it's still a choice that I made, the person being the choice, and the child being the result of that choice and what. So these women can have cordial relationships with the fathers of their children, baby daddies, husbands, things like that. It's like, yeah, I respect where we are today, but I'm not emotionally where I was then. And this is cool. This is great. It's when every bad decision in your life resorts back to some motherfucker that you slept with, that you laid with. And now it's like, okay, sis, accountability is a thing because these people are not just taking you and putting you in their bed and saying, we're going to be together for such and such amount of time, then I'm going to leave you. And it's, no, either you are playing the role of a person that's worth being with, and then come to find out you're not worth being with, or you may think you're worth being with, and you're not worth being with. And I say that sadly because there's plenty of people whom don't meet the criteria that they think they meet. Like, and no, depending on how this is done, it doesn't make them delusional or anything. But you're not dating yourself. Like this works for men. It works if you flip it to the other side for men too. At the end of the day, buddy, you're not dating you. So whether it be money, sex, intelligence, status, things like that, different people want different things, different strokes for different folks. So if you don't meet someone's criteria, don't look at it crazy like, oh, well, I meet my criteria as you should. As you should. But your criteria for yourself will also let you know what you want out of life. Doesn't mean that you're going to get what you want out of life, but that lets you know what you want out of life. And when I say that, I mean that in the sense of if I tell you that I own 10 businesses and I'm a liar and I'm exaggerating, I should at least own one. But if I own absolutely no businesses, then what does that tell you? I'm a delusional liar. But if I have one business, if I've started one business, then I can start another one because I know what it takes. In which I don't even have to run my businesses. I can just own them. It can just literally be 10 different sheets of paper that say, this is the owner of this business. They don't have to be doing good. But that's where you let people's minds wander. So I tell you I own 10 businesses, you think I'm successful. No, all 10 of those businesses could be in the ground. They can be absolved. You can have 10 absolved businesses. They're not even registered at that point in time. But guess what? You did register them, they do exist, and the option slash the potential for those businesses to do good, depending on what businesses they are, is there. Depending on what ideas you have, it's there. So, as a woman, you can tuck tail and run from mostly any situation except being a mother in most cases. Partially because of how you'll be looked at by other people. Also, in part by how you'll feel about yourself when you knew that you were all this child had. No one else besides you and its father had the pleasure of making this child. But you also know how much deceit, manipulation, and things like that you've done for little to nothing. I'm pretty sure it's okay for you to do that for this child. This is why your mom, especially if she's a good one, mothers ride with their children, right or wrong, because they'll see the good in you. That's why they come with the saying, a face only a mother could love. Because guess what? If she feels that ultimate connection like mothers do with their children a lot of times, she's going to, I don't care how ugly the child is, even if she knows in her head and wants to say it out her mouth, but she won't because she doesn't want to hurt the child. So now this brings me back to those mothers that say, fuck them kids. Sometimes the women just need a break too. This is why you drop the kids off at grandma sometimes. That's why I say it takes a village to raise a child. Do not think that men was just put on this earth to work and pay bills and women was just put on this earth to pop out babies. That is not how this works. It can function that way. It's not how this works. So I say all of that to say if you have a man around you, next to you, in your thoughts, anything like that, if there's a man that you can think of that just simply hates something, I'm not telling you to go shove it down his throat and make him like it. But what I am saying is, if that man cares for you, but he doesn't like and or care for whatever it is that you would like to him, you would like for him to, like and or care about, keep bringing it around him. Give it a chance. Give it time. Like, introduce him to it. Um, get him familiar with it. We use a pet for example. You decide like a man don't like cats. Okay, cool. Well, you and this man have gotten to the point where y'all live together, and you get a cat. And guess what? He's probably not gonna throw your cat out as bad as he may want to at first. He's probably not gonna throw your cat out because he has a love for you, right? And you like the cat, man. It's your cat, man. Don't bring that cat around me, man. Get the fucking cat away from me. Shit like that, right? Part of my language. After a certain amount of time, he will develop his own unique relationship with that cat. Maybe not another one, but your cat. It's just because, man, you brought the cat around. The cat may eventually do something that this person likes, sees as funny, you know, icebreaker. That's just for the men. Because if a man is around anything for a certain amount of time, he's gonna, come to love it. This is exactly why men, stepfathers, things like that. It's like, nah, kid's cool. Blah, blah. So, that's what helps him stay in a relationship with you longer because it's like, oh, me and my kids come as a package. Duh, obviously. So it's like, I might as well, get to know the kids too. This and the third. Stepmothers they don't have that on their plate. Because if I can tell you right now, if I tell my dad, oh, I don't like Miss Such and Such, he don't give a flying fuck. You know what he cares about? How she makes him feel and what she does for him. Mind your business. You're not dating her, I am. That's just how that goes. Now, of course, you got different fathers, different types of fathers that'll, exercise options between the two, try to find common ground. But as a woman, as a woman, her children can really make or break y'all's relationship because, well, if my child don't like you, then hey, you gotta go, buddy. Things like that. Or they create a situation where the child won't have to deal with you. But that also means that you can only go but so far with this woman. You understand? Because now you have to, conduct the interactions between you two differently. You gotta go to different places and where it may have been cool for you to come to her house, or the last guy might have came to her house, or she. Then yeah, you gotta move around. While they're my kids, all right, cool, right? Now, at that point, she's having more respect for the kids than almost like herself because you do still, mama gotta have a life too. So you do still have to interact with daily life, meaning dating, getting the job and or whatnot. The problem comes in when she decides to blame the results of her previous choices, previous decisions on the children. That's when the problem comes in because you cannot blame the children for a decision that they did not make. So, when you hear a woman telling a son that you look just like your ugly ass father, guess what? How ugly was he when he was laying on top of you? Right? Exactly. Or when you hear and or see some women abusing their children physically, just because life is beating your ass, do not mean you gotta go take out your anger on that defenseless child. But these are the things that happen when women get overwhelmed. It becomes almost like an emotional exhaustion. It's really just what it is. It's an emotional exhaustion to the point that they snap. Men snap logically. We mentally snap, not so much emotionally. And when a man emotionally snaps, it's still filtered through common sense and logic, so people don't understand it all the time because it's like, where did that come from? We never seen him like this. Yes, well, guess what? Emotionally, he's been growing in the situation and or going through the situation. So, although he may have snapped mentally, his emotions are what caused him to mentally snap. But this has been another episode of Esoteric TV, and I just wanted to inform the masses that we've got to take better care of our women, the ones worth taking care of. No, I'm just being funny. But not for real. We need to take better care of beings, male and female. We do need to take better care of beings. But I placed emphasis this time on the women because a stressed out mother passes stress on to her children, and she doesn't do it consciously. She's not trying to do it. It's actually almost not even her fault. But because of a child's attachment to its mother, when a mother goes through anything stressful, a child wants to relieve that stress. And the only reason that a child would ever want to relieve their mother's stress is because there's no one else there to do it. So, to all my husbands, boyfriends, side niggas, I would love it if we as a team could be a little bit more mindful of how we interact and or handle the female species. Thank you. Good night.